Oh, hey. How are you? Good. Glad. Cool. Good. I like it. So, so just I ate some cake. Um, it was pink. It was a pink cake. The cake inside was not pink. The icing was pink, and it was a large slice. It was a slice of a large cake, but it wasn't obviously a whole. Still a piece of cake. You know, those cakes that are really tall. It was one of those, right? It was like a piece of that, and it was cake. And now you're caught up to where I'm up to, and I have a Guinness. I have a glass of Guinness, and it's 5 p.m. somewhere. It was here 42 minutes ago. It was 5 p.m. It's now 5:45. Anyway, what are we doing here today? Well, that's a good question. I'm glad you asked. So I've been working on a little side project on and off for a while, and I have a problem. And the problem is it's in Rails, and I love Rails. If I do end up doing a video on Rails, I will go into the ways and reasons for. I mean, I'm probably going to say it now. Who am I kidding? I talk too much, but I really like Rails. Rails is absolutely awesome. If you don't like Rails, you are wrong and silly and smelly, and we're not friends. I'm joking. It's fine. Like what you want to like. But Rails is really good. And Rails isn't very fashionable, though. And that's part of the reason why I like it. And the thing that makes it so good, cutting out all the bullshit, is it's really productive. You get a lot done very, very quickly. And the main problem with Rails is normally mitigate, which is the fact that Ruby is slow. Ruby is still faster than Python, but it's quite memory hungry. So it costs slightly more to run, and that's kind of it. And that compute is cheap. And when I say Rails is very productive, I mean, very productive. You can get a ton done in a very short amount of time for what is a relatively hard learning curve, I guess, compared to something like, I don't know, like Next.js or whatever. It's, you know, but once you're up to speed, you can work faster. Ruby's very pleasant as a language. Rails is extremely pleasant to work with. And it just constantly makes you smile with how straightforward certain things are and how well battle-tested it is. Everyone loves that phrase, battle-tested, and I'm going to use it too. It is very well battle-tested, and it's very good. Anyway, the point is, there's one thing I don't like about Rails, okay? And where it's heavily opinionated, one of the things it does is if you use the default stack in Rails and you want to have a monolith, so you want to have one application with the front end and the back end and a single app, the default way of doing that in Rails is kind of shit. And there's various degrees of ways you can run Rails. It's still really popular. People just don't talk about Rails, but it's still really popular with loads of businesses as an API-only framework or as a full-stack framework, because it's really low drama. You have people who have been working it for years who don't need to talk about it too much because they already know it's good, and businesses that use it and then don't have to change it very often because it just works kind of forever. And yeah, despite what YouTubers might have you believe, it's perfectly fine. But the thing is, with the default front end, it's very, very old school, and it's intentionally so, I think. You can run it, again, like an API and just have a separate microservice style SPA setup with like React or Vue or whatever you want to do, and a lot of people do that. In fact, actually, I'm interested in experimenting with it and Inertia. So if you're not using Ember.js, Inertia.js is amazing. It's basically, it's not from the Laravel team, but it's very closely aligned to Laravel, where basically it's just, you have a monolith, but you have Vue, React, Svelte running on the front end, and then your router just hands hands React the stuff it needs in the shape it expects. It's kind of magic. So if you're used to working on Laravel or Rails and you have the way you provide just variables and stuff to an endpoint, it just does that, and then it's sick. It's so good. But I want to experiment, right? Because there's one thing that I've really appreciated in Rails, and getting back to my point here and what we're doing here today, is the opinionation. Not having to reinvent the wheel all the time when you have to do something is great, because you just get on with making stuff and making bigger decisions, and you don't have to wring your hands over, oh, how do I approach this? There's normally an approach that's normally pretty rock solid, and it will just work. And sometimes, I swear to God, there's been things that have taken me a week before in other languages I have done in 35 minutes in Rails, and it's been more robust and just worked and suited all of my needs. It's been fantastic. And I like that. I like that, not having to think about stuff, right? And the thing is, like, as much as I really like Vue, but I want to experiment, right? And I do like that opinionation. I like not having to guess. Or if I come into if you go and read a Rails code base from someone else, you're acquainted. There's no how they done this, how they done this. You can. Rails is really terse. Sorry, Ruby is a really terse language, right? It's really magical. But it's very expressive. When I say expressive, there's 10 different ways to do something, but it's not verbose. It's super terse. So even when things do go outside the lines, it's really readable. So you hit any Rails code base, you can understand what's going on really quickly. I like that, and it's good for maintenance. So when it came to saying the front end, so the default way of working with Rails on the front end, if you don't use it as an API, is like partials and something called ERB, which is embedded Ruby. So it's basically, it's like if you use Blade or something in Laravel, or like something like that. It's like a template language, but basically you write HTML and you embed in inline, you escape to inline Ruby, which sounds great in principle, but everything around it feels quite old school. You don't have real components, you have partials. The partials aren't very performant. There's some weird overheads with it. And then when it comes to the reactivity part of it, that's provided by something called Hotwire. And Hotwire is, let me grab a Hotwire, not IO, Hotwire Rails. I'll just show you what Hotwire is. Towwire, I can't spell, Hotwire Rails. There we go. Hey, got there on the end. And if you're familiar with something like HDMX, Hotwire is kind of similar. Or if you're familiar with Livewire inside Livewire inside or Blazor, or LiveView inside Phoenix, it's kind of like that. Apart from it's very Railsy, and it's supposed to get out your way. And one of the big complaints from non-Rails people, but about Rails, is it's very magical. Hotwire is the most magical shit on earth to an extent where it makes it almost unusable. And I've smashed my head against it for almost a year now, and I've come to the conclusion I just don't think I like it. So basically Hotwire is a stack of 3 different technologies. There's Turbo, Stimulus, not native, and then there's Turbo and Stimulus, and there's something else. But anyway, the 2 main parts are Turbo. Basically Turbo does a bunch of stuff. So things like if you turn on a Rails site by default, you hover a link, it'll prefetch all the pages so they feel instantaneous. You get it for free. Or Turbo has this thing where you can decompose parts of the view into frames, and you can load the contents of those frames in asynchronously, or you can do the same thing with WebSockets. And it sounds great, but using it in real life is annoying as hell. And I kind of want to get rid of it. Stimulus is a tiny little JavaScript framework. It's a bit, not framework, it's kind of like, imagine if someone a couple of years ago wrote jQuery. And it's actually kind of good. It's ES6, you don't write any silly abstractions. It's just literally, it basically turns JS into a bunch of controllers, and then you attach to a controller with data attributes inside the front end, and then you basically call methods on it, and there's a bunch of other stuff to it. Stimulus is actually kind of cool. Turbo and both together, so this is for adding functionality, and this is for navigating and whatever. This has so many foot guns built into it, it's not even funny. And if you buy into it, cool, you'll have fun. I think for a lot of people you won't. It took me longer to get my head around Turbo than it did to get around Rails, and Rails isn't super easy to learn, to be honest. Stimulus is very, very easy. You can learn it in an afternoon. Stimulus is actually great. People should use Stimulus. It's not very popular. People should use Stimulus. Anyway, getting back to my main point. I really like the opinionation aspect of Rails. I like the fact I can turn up. There's one way to do everything, and it works, and it's battle tested. And now, because it's old and boring and no one uses it, it means that it's really robust, and the code base is super hard and super duper mature. And I want to get to a similar place on the front end. So my instincts would be, if I'm not going to use this, there's things that soften the blow of working inside Rails front end. There's a thing called Vue Component, which is a proper component system for Rails. There's a thing called Flex, but with PH, which basically is kind of like if you used Haml back in the olden days. It's like markup, but written all in Ruby. I don't like that abstraction DSL on top of HTML thing. I don't even like JSX, but I don't like having a DSL over markup. It's weird and it's stupid, but I don't like it. And that leaves me with one thing to look at, which would be going against my instincts of using something like Vue or at push. I don't really like Svelte that much actually either, to be honest. Or React. Is I am going to go into the past, and we're finally getting to the point of the video, and I am going to learn today a little bit of Ember. Ember.js. That's why it's like it's 2011. And I'm not saying I'm going to use it. I'm just going to have a play with it. I'm going to run through a tutorial. I'm going to run through the tutorial, see how I feel about it. Because Ember's kind of like the Rails of front-end frameworks, right? It's got its own router built in. It's all batteries included. It's very, very similar sort of configuration over convention over configuration type shit. I don't have high hopes. I'm not saying I'm even like, this is going to be amazing. I don't have very high hopes at all. I'm not even really expecting to like it, but we will find out. And it's unpopular. And I've recently, on a little kick with web technologies, of seeking out the things that aren't popular, because the thing is, like, things get left on the wayside, and the flavor of the month is not necessarily the best flavor. The flavor of the month for the last few years has been dog poo, and I don't really want to. I don't want to have a code base that's React that infects everything and be like, oh well, now I just need to put it all to Next.js, and Vercel have to pay them £5 trillion a month for something that could run on a fucking Hetzner box for like $5. No, I don't. I'm not about that world. I'm not saying it's all like that, but it's a slippery slope, and it's annoying, and the churn inside JavaScript it annoys me. And the thing that Ember's really still quite popular with, again, very under the radar, is bigger application. I mean, I'm not writing a big application, but when applications become big, it becomes dependable. It's that thing of like when people use things like Kotlin or .NET. I get why you use .NET. I don't like either of those things. I'm not into Java. I don't like .NET very much. But I can see why you'd do it, you know? And this is kind of like that, but a slightly more fashionable veneer, because it's still like React-ish, sort of. Anyway, or is it? Let's find out. Let's go through the entire tutorial, and we'll see how this goes. So, welcome to the Ember tutorial. Thank you. And they've got a hamster as their mascot. And they've got a mascot. Everything needs a mascot. And if it's a hamster with a little, little cravat and a, what was that? Like one of those waxy jackets that smell like piss. It's one of those, and a waistcoat. That's the main reason for doing any of this. Right. Anyway, we're going to build a thing. So in this tutorial, use Ember to build an application called Super Rentals. Check out the finished app. Let's look at this. Boop. What does this do? Let's just do herb. Well, that's not a good start. Urban, is that going to work? No. Down. Oh god, the search doesn't work in their example apps. That's not a good start. But there we go. We can make a picture bigger, and we can go to a thing. And is this, what's this? Is this a map? Oops, no, that's not a map. It is a map. And share on Twitter. Yeah, they've not updated this, have they? Share on the Nazi tube. Cool. Do you have some weird attitudes about stuff? Hey. Right. And normal people as well, but let's be real. Right, okay, so this is what we're building. It's pretty lame, but it looks like it'll be fast. What was that going to do? That does nothing. And the search, so let's try this again. Charm, no. D-O-D. Oh, it's case sensitive. Right, so I do L-D. A-N-I-S-O. Yeah, okay, so if I do O-N. Okay, no, it's not the first letter. That's fine. Old. Do old. Well. Ember people, revisit your demo thing, because that's on Netlify as well. Nice. I quite like Netlify. So, that's what we're building. Right, let's get started. So, hang on. Along the way, you'll learn everything you need to know to build a basic Ember application. Apple use Ember. I'm not sure if it's a good thing or not, but they do. If you get stuck at any point during the tutorial, feel free to download. Nah, let's not do that. The tutorial is structured in two parts. The first part covers the following basic concepts: Ember CLI, navigate the file files, blah, blah, blah. Building linking between pages, templates, components, automated testing, working with server data. I have had a quick nose at their docs, but like on a lunch break the other day. So I've not really read anything. So you know as much as me at this point. Orientation. Okay, npm install G Ember CLI. Your boy likes a good CLI, and our current Zellage session is called Rusty Zebra, because it is. because that's what it's called. And you will see in oh, hello. What? No. What? I'm not. Okay, I don't really want to do this, but let's try it with sudo. Oh, that feels wrong. That's going to come bite me in the ass, isn't it? You love to see that. Lots of, just a long list of deprecated warnings. That's cool. Okay. Well, strong start. Okay, so let's just do Ember version. Ember CLI 6.5.0, whatever. Okay, Node, whatever. OS, Darwin, ARM64. Right, version number is shown. You're ready to go. Create a new Ember app. Ember new super rentals language EN. Let's do that. Boop. I don't know where I am. Oh, well. Give it a second. Napum. It's doing its thing. Let's work with Yarn. I like Yarn. Anyone else who like Yarn? All one person? No? Hello, person. Person watching. Let's go to here. How's this work? Wait. Mute. There we go. There we go. Right, yes, so. Oh, God. What has happened here? I don't know. I'm running the new macOS beta, which is not necessarily... okay, so we're going to do that. Super rentals. There we go. And I'm going to go like this again. And we'll see what happens. I've installed the CLI as root, which is like, this feels wrong. This is gonna suck, isn't it? What are you doing, npm? You having fun? Happy coding. cd super rentals, and then we go to npm start. Okay. Okay. It's doing something with Webpack. Good thing I don't have to touch Webpack, because I hate it. I hate it more than I hate the current political situation. That's not true. I couldn't hate anything more than the current political situation. Oh, in the wrong window. Pow. Congratulations, you made it. Hooray. Okay. Well, that was fine. The following of the tutorial commands are run within the super rentals folder. This folder is the following structure: app, components, makes sense, controllers, I don't know what that means in context, helpers, and guess what that means, models. I don't know what that would mean in the context of this application, but we'll find out. Roots, that's pretty self-explanatory. Styles, self-explanatory. Templates, pretty self-explanatory. Handlebars, I love handlebars. App.js, index, and then they got a file. Oh, roots. Roots, and then roots. Is it file based or is it config based? Config, public, tests, as config, Ember CLI, all that crap. README, all that crap. We'll learn about the purpose of these folders as we go. For now, it's to spend most of our time working on the app folder. That's familiar. Starting, stopping the button server. It's doing its thing. Actually, I'm going to go back to here. I'm going to just stop that. And do one of these, and I'm just going to do npm start and then hide that. Is that working? It's probably working. Alright, so development service responsible for compiling our app and serving it to the browser. Serving it to the browsers. It may take a while to boot up. That's not a good sign. Once it's up and running, open your favorite browser there, and you see the welcome page. We have got that. It's here. Where is it? Here it is. Wow. And he's got a little that on. He's like a Beastie Boy. Move this welcome message. Move the welcome page component from your app templates application.hbs. So what we're going to do is hx that, and I'm going to go to what was it again? Application.hbs, and then we've got this guy here. I'm going to delete that. Okay, and let's give that a go. And go back to here, and we've got a blank page, so we can be like, hey, and then let's do that, and there. Oh, there we go, and it auto loads as well. Look at that. Right, so, and I guess that's our page title. So our page title is going to be, I don't know, tomatoes, and that does exactly what you expect. There we go. Outlet done. That means, presumably, that's like the socket for a handlebars file. It's not the standard handlebars syntax. I think it's like this, if memory serves. I can't remember. I did some handlebars earlier this year. It was a real throwback, but I do really like handlebars, so that's good. So welcome. That's weird. So I think of it as a handlebar, because handlebars doesn't natively have components. It has partials, sort of. So I wonder how that works. It's weird that you've got like a sort of a HTML-y, standard. Anyway, mixing and matching that with handlebars. Whatever. We'll see how that goes. You can exit development server, but yeah, standard Control-C, npm start, editing files and live reload. Has a feature called live reload. Stop, you're going too quickly. You're blowing my mind. Which monitors your app for file changes and automatically recompiles everything and refreshes any open browser pages. Well, we're in the year of our Lord, 2015. That being said, by default, Rails doesn't... Actually, it does recently. Super recently, last year, Rails comes with a default auto-reload method for front end. It didn't until a year ago. There's ways to do it, but no standard way, unless you use Rails with V, which you can do. Anyway, editing files and live reload. As text on the welcome page is pointed out, the source code for the page is located in there. Let's try and edit a file and replace their own content. I've done that. Way ahead of you. I'm like a pro. I already know this. I should be teaching you guides.ember.js.com. Soon after saving the file, your browser should automatically refresh and run out the greeting to the world. Neat. There we go. When you're done, go ahead and delete the app templates application HBS file. We won't be needing it for a while, so let's start afresh. Well, we're just going to do one of these. I'm going to do rm app templates. Yeah, templates, and then we're going to do application. Yeah, so we're going to get rid of that. There we go. And then if you just do, okay, right, so we don't need you anymore, but do we need to make a new file? When you're done experimenting, go ahead and delete that. Again, if you still have the browser open, you automatically render a blank page as soon as you delete the file. Let's have a look. And so we do. Working with HTML, CSS, and assets in an Ember app, create an app templates index.hbs file. So I'm going to go like this. Okay, and then what I'm going to put in here. Paste the following markup. Alright, let's go with that. Okie dokie, and then we're going to just do one of those, and then it's app templates index.hbs. There we go. Oh, it's picked up as Glimmer. Nice. Okay. Hey, that looks... If you're thinking, hey, that looks like HTML, then you'd be right. I mean, it is? Who have they written this for? Hey, there we go. In the simplest form, Ember templates are really just HTML. If you're already familiar with HTML, you should feel right at home here, because that's literally, that's just misleading. There's so much more to any one of these things. I know there's more to you than this. Why are you saying it's so easy? Anyway. Don't forget, man in 2012 was like, oh, what is this component malarkey? And how does one make love with it? I don't know. I don't know how that works. Anyway, so there we go. I've done that. I've saved it. Before we do anything else, let's add some styling to our app. Oh Christ, I don't want to do that. Okay, fine. Before we do anything else, let's add some style to our app. Copy it into app styles app.css. Let's do that. Oh, Where are we? Ghosty. There we go. And then I'm just going to do .css. There we go. Okay. And supports plain CSS out of the box. Everything supports plain CSS out of the box. It's a fucking... Right, no. Calm down. What have they done here? What have I done here, for that matter? Let's go just do that, and then... What's that about? What? Right, okay. Cool, whatever. Right, so, done. CSS file's pretty long. You've not seen some of my CSS files, so we don't show the entire file here. Be sure to use the link above to... Oh. No. Oh. What? Fine. You know what? Fine. Wow, look at that. So, if you're familiar with CSS, which you should be, it's a fucking JavaScript framework. You're going to be familiar with... Just calm down. Have a sip of your Guinness. Oh, so creamy, so alcoholic. Feel free to customize your styles to your likings. I think I can't be asked doing that, so I'll just leave them as they are. Just keep in mind that you may see some visual differences going forward, so should you choose to do so. Explain the concept of CSS in the context of this. It's wild. When you're ready, save the CSS file, trusted development service, you pick up the fresh style page right away. No more unstyled content. I like her. Zoe, she's cool. She's got nice hair. She needs to get better glasses there. I'm not doing anything for her face shape. They're not flattering. Go for a squarer frame, Zoe. Okay, to match the microphone design. Oh, I'm not putting the image in. I can't be bothered. No, I'm just going to pretend. No, I'm leaving that. I can't be bothered. I'm not downloading an image. Oh, fine. What's it saying here? To match the microphone design, we want to download the Teaching Tomster. That's quite a cool name. You win some faith back from me, Ember. As we learned earlier, the Ember convention is to place your source code. Did we? To place your source code in the app folder. For other assets like images and fonts, convention to put them in the public folder. It's pretty mind-blowing stuff. Download the image and save it into the public assets. I can't be fucked. Let's just pretend that I did this. Oh, should I do it? Let me just... I don't even know where I put this. I don't care. I'm not doing it. I'm just not doing it. Right. Both the embassy... I can't be bothered. It's fine. We don't need the image of the hamster. I just can't be bothered doing it. This can confirm by blah, blah, blah. So yeah, just put it in public assets images. Right? You confirm this by navigating to whatever. This image should be sharp and welcome. Yeah. I may have to do manual. Why manual? Okay, right, fine. Hey, building pages. In this chapter, you'll build the first few pages of your Ember app and set up links between them. By the end of this chapter, you should have 2 new pages, an about page and a contact page. These pages will be linked from your landing page. No if, buts, or maybes. They're so different. Wow, this is phenomenal stuff. Look at that, 3 pages. But I guess we'll learn about, routing. Using route templates, customizing URLs, linking pages to link to component, passing arguments and attributes to components. With our first page down, let's add another one. This time we like to put the page to be served on the About URL. In order to do this, we'll need to tell Ember about our plan to add a page to that location. Otherwise, Ember will think we've just visited an invalid URL, and the world will immediately end, and everything will catch fire. The place to manage what page is available is our router, and go ahead and open app router.js, also quite familiar. So go like router.js, there we go, and it's got map function, blah, 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 blah. Let's just do that, get rid of that. There we go. There we go. Oh, no. There. Okay, this route about. Simple. So export default class router extends Ember router. Pretty straightforward. That's pretty nice actually. It's pretty readable. Root named about, which will serve as the about URL by default. Using root templates, with that in place, you can create a new app templates about.hbs template with the following content. Let's grab that. Let's pre-grab that. Let's come back to here and we just do a new. Okay, no. I thought. Oh no, I did. All right, and this is in app templates about.hubs. Uh-oh. Oh no. Okay. Oh, there's no. Okay, right. Let's just pretend we didn't do that. So this is the one thing that gets me about command line applications, because then I have to rename the file. I have to be like, oh, CP, and then no. I know I've done this. About.hbs, and then right, we're going to do this, and then we're going to pretend. Is that it? And then we're going to just do rm app templates about.hb, and we pretend it never happened. So we'll go back to here. System action, navigate to blah 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 about. So we go to here and we'll go about, and that works. Magic. Okay. What am I doing? Can I please tell? I am. Should we rewind the video? No, I'm joking. I am learning a very old school JavaScript framework called Ember. And if you're below a certain age, you may have never even heard of it before. I've never used it before, and I'm figuring out how it works. I have some motivations, which makes me want to have a go, and I have very low expectations of it being good. But I'm just sitting here with a Guinness, having some fun, and we'll see what happens. So, there we go, Ember.js, that's where we are. So, defining routes with a custom path to run a roll. While we're at it, let's add our third page. Wow. This time, things are a little bit different. Every other company calls this the contact page. However, those thick bastards, the old website we're replacing already has a similar page, which has served our legacy URL, / getting in touch. Pfft, you should have known that, Janice. We want to keep the existing URLs for the new website, but we don't want to have to type in getting-in-touch all over our code base. Fortunately, for the best of both worlds, oh wow, let's just do that. Okay. Guys, you need to move a little quicker. Because it's just, you know, like, oh, it's just, oh well. Should this be like, I don't know, whatever. I'm sure it doesn't matter which order they're in. And maybe find out that's very important what they want. So yeah, okay, we specify a path. Cool. We have the contact route, but explicitly specify a path for the route. This allows us to keep the legacy URL, but use the new shorter name for the route, as well as a template file name. You're very welcome. Ember comes with strong conventions and sensible defaults. This is my reason for using it, or learning it. It could be terrible, but I like strong conventions and sensible defaults because it takes away guesswork. It takes away bespoke regeneration of things that aren't that complicated, which you do 30 times over. Instead of doing it 30 different ways, you do it one, and that one is the blessed one. And then if you run into it's when things get more complicated and it becomes problematic, is the thing that really defines how good these frameworks are or aren't, right? But that's true of all of them, and everyone puts so much emphasis on, oh well, this is not what I'm used to, and it's fine, just get on with it, you'll find a solution. It's just JavaScript at the end of the day. So Ember comes with strong conventions and sensible defaults. If we're starting from scratch, we wouldn't mind the default contact URL. However, the defaults don't work for us. There's no problem to customize Ember to our needs. Let's just make contacts.hubs. So we'll do this, and then we'll do this. That's right. And then we'll just do app templates contact.hbs. I can't type. Contact.hbs. Okay. And becomes a strong convention, but I read that already. So, and if I just do getting in touch, so it should respect that. It's going to blatantly work. Getting in touch. And there we go. We've got our beautiful contact page. Sans hamster, because that hamster can shut up. Linking pages is a link to component. We're putting so much effort into making these pages, we just need to make sure people can find them. The way we do the web is using hyperlinks. Or, guys, you're just talking about. Okay, all right, fine. The way they explain things is like the first time we've seen any of this. The internet was already like a decade old at this point, guys, when you first wrote this. Let's move on. So, since Ember offers a great support for URLs out of the box, as do all browsers, we can just link our page together using the anchor tag, because that's just how it works everywhere. Right. Anyway, the appropriate href. However, clicking those links would require the browser to make a full page refresh. Yeah. Which means it would have to make a trip back to the server to fetch the page, then load everything from scratch again. With Ember, we can do better than that. Mind-boggling stuff. Ember provides an alternative called link to. For example, here's how you would use it on the pages we just created. Link to. There we go. So we've got, yep. Nice. You've got a little declarative implicit boy. Root about class. There we go. Pretty straightforward. So presumably, well, so when we put this on index, which one's it? Index. There we go. And then I'm gonna be pretty. I'm gonna be a bit rogue. I'm gonna do that. You don't get to live inside the div. It's my div. And if we go back to, that should just work, right? There we go. Oh no, that is actually pretty annoying. Let's just do that and pretend that we just didn't do this before. Okay, there we go. Okay, and then that works. Lovely. Okay. Okay. Oh, you know what? Is that the same one? No, that's all right. All right. You know what? Copy. Doing a lot of copying, a lot of pasting here, guys. About. Is it about? What am I doing here? Bear? Yeah, that's the right one. I think. I can't be bothered to the last one. Oh, fine. You twisted my arm. About, and this is on contacts. Okay. Oops. There we go. Right. So, link to is an example of a component in Ember. There we go, getting onto components already. So, you can tell them apart from regular HTML tags because they start with an uppercase letter. Along with regular HTML tags, components are a key building block that we can use to build an app's user interface. We have a lot more to say about components later, but for now, you can think of them as a way to provide custom tags to supplement the built-in ones that came with the browser. Oh my god, why did I choose Ember? So, actually, I went over this at the beginning of the video. So, when because I've not chosen anything yet, I'm just sort of playing with it. So the thing with I really like Rails, Ruby on Rails, and one of the big motivators for liking it is when you have something with strong opinions and you're doing something that's relatively mundane, like building most web applications. There's lots of edge casey stuff which is as difficult as it is everywhere. Having those strong conventions in place actually means that it takes a lot of mystery away from how the application is supposed to work. It makes it really maintainable. And for 97% of everything you're ever going to do with most applications, it's supported out of the box. And it's also a very nice ecosystem to live in. And Ruby's a very pleasant language to write. And for long-term maintenance, it's really useful. You know, if you hit a code base from almost anything else, there's that acclimation period where you figure out how everything's laid out. And the more batteries, so things like Django, Laravel, Rails are the sort of the exemplars of being enough packed in the box that you can kind of navigate your way around. Of those three, Rails has the strongest set of conventions and the strongest set of rules, and it's probably the most coherent in those rules. So I can not look at my own Rails code base in 6 months, come back to it, and I very quickly know where I am. I can look at any Rails code base as someone who's not done Rails that long and figure out very quickly what's going on in it, because they're all quite uniform. There's a lot that's really useful if you want to onboard new developers, if you want to do more work. And the point of this is, what Ember's the only thing out there that's kind of like the equivalent of like a Rails for the front end. Everything ends up so bespoke, and Ruby has Rails has a front end, but Rails' front end kind of sucks. Basically, you can use it as API only, so you can use it with like React, or you can use it with like Vue or Svelte, whatever you want to do. But I thought I'd give this a go because it sounds interesting, and I might like it, and I might not. At the moment, I have not done enough of this to form an opinion. So far, it seems like everything else. So we'll see if the special source comes out. I'm not seeing much in the ways of any sort of special opinionation so far. Just so far, it has components. So the at root part is how we pass arguments into the component. That makes sense. Here we use this argument to specify which roots. So there'll be a corresponding like instance variable type thing, which will accept whatever that is, which is pretty standard stuff. It should be the name of the route, not the path. That's fine. About instead of about, contact. There you go. So yes, it's the name of the path. That's a convention. I don't mind that. That's fine. Pretty mild. In addition to arguments, components can also take the usual HTML attributes as well. So we've got class. In our example, we just added a button class. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. This actually was. Yeah. That's what it said. ARIA roles, whatever. These are passed without the at symbol, of course, because it's just standard HTML as opposed to at class. So that Ember will know they're just regular HTML attributes. And the link to his component generates a regular anchor tag. Yep, so it's going to be an anchor with a couple of bits in for that. No, sorry, that at root thing even. Yep. I've been told, actually, anecdotally, apparently the routing's really good in Ember, and also I've been told the components are really good, but I don't know what the components are good yet, so we'll find out. Yep, so however, when we click on these special links, Ember will insert the click, render the content for the new page, standard, or for locally, we might have to wait for the server, thus avoiding a full page refresh. We'll learn more about how this works soon. In the meantime, go ahead and click on the link in the browser. Do you notice how snappy that was? It's going to be so slow. Yeah, that was... Do you see that? That little flash? That was not fast. Let's do it. Try. Oh, you... Well, I have no way getting back to the index because you never gave me the option to do it, did you? Ember tutorial. It's fine. It's fine. It's fine. Also, about us says about us and about says about. They need to redo this. It's not a very complicated sample app either for them to like make it this sloppy. I don't know. Whatever. Congratulations, you're well on your way to becoming a master page crafter. Whew. And I get the hat. And I get the cape. I assume there's a cape and a hat. There isn't. I'm out. I'm not going to do any more. I'm leaving. Automated testing. Oh, fuck that. Fine. In this chapter, use Ember's built-in testing framework to write some automated tests for your app. By the end of this chapter, nope. just not. I'm just not. I'll give this a read, but I'm not writing tests for this thing. I can't be arsed. Yeah, fine. Yeah. I get it. I know you're a good boy. You eat all your vegetables and you fucking go to bed at 9 o'clock. I know you write tests for everything. Oh, look at you. I think you're special. Anyway, the purpose of automated testing, we've come to a lot in the last few chapters. Let's recap. No, let's not recap. Everything works flawlessly. Apart from that little flash of unstyled content. But we do really know that everything is actually working. Sure, we clicked around a bit to confirm that things looked as expected, but do we feel confident that we checked every page for the most recent change we made? I'm pretty sure 3 divs and a button is fine, but I do know where you're going with this. After all, most of the experience had horror stories about making a small tweak, TM. In one area, I'm taking the piss, but actually these docs are written in quite a cute tone. I quite like it. In one of the app that inadvertently broke everything else while we weren't looking. Maybe we can write a checklist somewhere of all the things to check after making changes to our site. But surely this doesn't exist, Ember.js.com. Well, it does. Oh, but sure. As we get out of hand, we have more features to our app. It's also get old really quickly. Repetitive tasks like the best left to robots. Bleep bloop. Robots. That's an idea. If we can write a checklist and get a community check. Okay, let's just introduce the concept of testing. Thank you. Adding acceptance tests with generators. This is interesting. So once we're done patting ourselves on the back, for what? Go ahead and for knowing what tests are. I already knew what tests are. I just haven't written any. Well, I have, but not now. Anyway, go ahead and run the following command in the terminal. Okie dokie. This is going to be kind of interesting. So we're going to do one of these, do one of those, press one of them. Installing acceptance test, create test. Installing acceptance test? Okay. not writing the test though. You're not gonna make me write a test. It's like trying to make me eat vegetables before dessert. I ain't doing that. This is my time. I'm not at school. You can't make me do anything, Ember. It's called a generator command in Ember CLI. Generators are really good. I like them. I have them in like Laravel and Rails. They're useful. I like CLI commands that make stuff for you because it saves you time. As long as they make too much stuff, and that becomes a bit annoying. Anyway, generators automatically create files for us based on Ember's conventions and populate them with the appropriate boilerplate content. Similar to how Ember knew initially, but yeah, we know that. So Ember generate type name, whereas type is kind of thing. Generating name is, well, yeah. We generate an acceptance test. Load the test acceptance. So it's just do. Oh, wrong one. Tests. Okay. All right. That looks like a test to me. Yep. Yeah, certainly super rentals, and the URL is definitely that. Cool. Generators aren't required, but you could create the file. I mean, that's kind of a useful thing. I guess. Yeah. So yeah. All right. So. That's... I'm being too harsh, that's fine. Q unit. It's like G unit. Okay. Ember G. I'm not writing a test. That just looks like jest adjacent stuff. That's fine. I don't have to write this here. I can't be bothered. First we introduce the test robot to navigate to... Yes, thanks. Sure, I'm not writing the test. That'd be a lot. I can't. No, I'm not writing a test. I ain't writing a test. You can't make me. But how do you run them? We will always use await and visit as a pair. This applies to other kinds of similar too. Blah, 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 blah. So let's read. Let's at least read the test. So, yep, test. Yep, there we go. Basic function, fine. We're await. Yep, this is just JavaScript. Fine, pretty standard shit. Visiting home. Yep, we're checking the URL. We're checking that there's a H2 with super rails. Yeah, that's fine. That's fine. Do a little click for us. That's pretty cool. That's good enough. I'm happy enough with that. That's fine. That's some tests. If I go to there we go. Runs an Ember test server command, and it does inbuilt tests is kind of cool. Similar to set up and configure your own jest or whatever. That's kind of cool. I can admit that's kind of cool. Happens really quickly though. Blink and you'll miss it. In fact, what animation? What animation have you slowed down? There's no animation here. I had to slow this animation. There's no animation. What is? That's just a JPEG. What are you talking about? As much as I enjoy watching this, yeah. Don't make me. No. Okay, I'm gonna come back to that. I'm coming back to that. Don't judge me. I ain't writing tests for this. I know what it does. Nothing. So, components, but here we go. Components. In this chapter, you refactor. It's giving you an explanation of... I mean, I know I'm making jokes here and stuff, but it is cool that if you are, like... Again, I don't know why anyone would be learning this unless you're me, for the specific reasons that I'm looking at it. I don't know who would be reading this. And it might be a shame, you know? Going back to, like, less fashionable stuff and being like, oh, that should have caught on more. What a shame. You know, sometimes you're like, that didn't catch on more, thank Christ. On the flip side, you get things like jQuery, and you go, that caught on? Jesus. Or like, React, that caught on? Oh my god, it's a bit of a mess. A lot of people like React, I don't really like React. Anyway, in the previous chapter, we got a light introduction to components when using link to connect our pages. To recap, we said that component is Ember's way of creating custom tags to supplement the built-in HTML tags from the browser. Now we're going to create our own components. During the course of developing an app, important to pay attention to this, it is pretty common to reuse the same UI elements across different parts of the app. Heaven forfend that we don't do that. For example, we're using the same jumbo header on all 3 pages so far. So we have. On every page, we work the following same basic structure. There's a jumbo and a flumbo. I'm gonna, when I make my component, I'm gonna get rid of that div because I'm not using your stupid hamster, whatever, gerbil. What is it? Gerbil or hamster? Ah, you're a short-lived marsupial, probably. I don't, what was a hamster? Hamster marsupial? Hello, beard boy. I like your wave hand emoji thing. It's pretty cool. But we're doing right. So, since it's not a lot of code, it may not make sense. It's a big deal to duplicate the structure each area. The designer wanted us to make a change to the header. they do that, the bastards, we'd have to find and update every single copy of this code. As our app gets bigger, this will become even more of a problem. This is written like you're being introduced to these concepts, which is kind of adorable. I kind of like it. Components are the perfect solution to this. In its most basic form, a component is just a piece of template that can be referred to by name. I know that. Let's just do it. Let's start by creating a new file, thank you, at appcomponents.jumbo.hubs. I'm going to copy that and save myself some typing, because that's how I roll. So over here, we're going to just do a n, just save it, and then we're going to do that. There we go. And then we're going to put in this yield. That makes sense. I know what that is already. Cool. Yeah, and just to spite you, I'm going to get rid of your stupid hamster. There we go. Yeah. How'd you like that? Okay. Remember, invoking components need to capitalize their names so Ember can tell them apart from... Okay, so Jumbo HBS template corresponds to the Jumbo tag, capital J, just like Super Awesome HBS corresponds to Super Awesome. So everything becomes... which one's that? Capital. It's not... It's thingy case. Capital title case. Title case. There we go, thank you. Got that all on my own. Passing content to components with yield. Nice, simple keyword. When invoking a component, Ember will place a component tag with the content found in the component's template. Fine. So, yield keyword to replace the content with the thing. So, yes, let's do that again. So, let's just go to contact. And then what we're going to do, we're going to grab from here down to here. Going to delete that. And then we're going to go into here. And then, wait, let's just delete. Let's just grab all. Let's just delete all. No, yeah. Wait. Whoa. What are we doing again? I forgot what I was doing. Well, we're going to do that. Yeah. I'm going to just grab all of this, going to delete all of it, and I'm going to go, I'm going to do jumbo, and I'm going to go like that. Doesn't auto close to me, that's not my favourite. Jumbo, thank you, jumbo. And then, okie dokie, then we're going to do one of these. Oops. One of these. There we go. And then we can pretend that P never happened. A little bit of P didn't come out. Right. And then what page is this? Contacts. Let's go back to contacts. About us. Contact us. There we go. It's all working the same way. Hooray. There we go. Look at that. A component. Mind-boggling. So... Okay, we just own one place, who cares? It's a component. Refactoring's and it's like, update your test. Is that what it's saying? And the test still passes. Yeah, because we're not testing for the component, are we? So it's going to pass. Right, so fine. So index. No, we're going to go to index. We go to index. There we go. We are going to delete that. Going to go down here, delete that, and then we're just going to do like that. Jumbo, and then we're going to go like. I wish it's self-closed. I need to probably like configure this or something. I don't know. Right. Grab that shit. Delete it. Come under here, and then just do one of those. Just do a p. And then that's going to probably annoy everyone. Let's just do that. I'm going to go like that. Cool. And then what was the other one? About. Was it about? There, that was it. So what we're going to do, I'm going to grab. So delete that. Delete that. There's capital J, jumbo, do another one, with a jumbo, and I'm going to go up to here, grab it down to there, give that one of those, do one of them, do that, and there we go. Right, so now we're using our component everywhere. Good. Right, so after saving, everything should look exactly the same as before. Almost as if it was pointless. But it wasn't. Because now, right, if we go back to jumbo, stop me from going too fast. I can't spell jumbo. I can't spell jumbo. I can just do this and be like potato, potato, and now it's going to say potato everywhere because it's a component. Did I save that? I did save that. What? Oh, I did it lower. Oh god, I did it lowercase. Oh no, is that index? No. You're supposed to be closed. Okay. Hmm. So let's go to, what was it? Yeah, that was it. There we go. There we go. Just do that. Okay. There we go. Look at that. Wonderful. Wonderful. Wonderful stuff. Right. So I'm not writing a component test. You can both shut up and fuck off. I'm not doing it. You can't make me. I'm not going to do it, Mum. Stop it. Let's roll it. It renders. There we go. Wait a minute. Ooh. That's not my favourite. Okay, that's not my... That's not my favourite. But I'm not doing a test anyway, so you can shut up. Yeah, I mean... Yeah, don't love that. That there is not my... It's not my fave. Okay, fine. So, what's next? We've been refactoring existing code for a while. It was at least 2 minutes. Let's change gears and implement a few new features. The site-wide navigation... Oh, blimey. Right. Check this out. So then we're going to do... yeah, so do one of these. No. And do one of them. Okie dokie. And then we're going to just do that. And what are we saying this? App components nav. What's it called? -bar.hubs. There we go. And I'm just going to grab that and just grab that, and we're going to delete that and then just save that again. Right. So. Okay. All right. Now we'll add on nav components to the top of each page. Oh, I know what I see where you're going with this. I see. It's got a self-close. I see what you're doing here. Oh, God. Capital N nav bar. There we go. Oh. Okay. What? Okay. And oh, I can't be bothered. I can't be bothered. We know it's going to work already. There we go. What page did I do that on? Did I save that? What? Did I save that? I think I saved it. I did. What the fuck? Nav. Yeah. What? Yeah. What the actual testicles? Hmm? Oh, that's not... What? So, yeah, navbar. Yeah, oh. And it gives me 0 feedback. Because I forgot to capitalize it. That's lame. Okay. That should give you some feedback, I feel. There we go, about con. That kind of sucks. That kind of sucks ass. Like, there should be something. There'll probably be something in the console, I guess, but yeah, a little bit too used to modern things. Why is my A yank? So there we go. Right, yeah. Okay, so let's put this in about. So we're going to come to there. We got that. Okay, and then what was the next one? It was contact, and then we're going to go to there, do that, and do that. Right. So now we've got all of our things. Check that out. Wow. Okay. So now it's going to tell me to reinstate that application.hbs file and then put it in there instead. Place your bets, guys. Place your bets. I'm not writing another test. You can fuck off. I'm not doing it. Using application template. You made me delete the application template, you bastard. Fine. 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 We'll do it. We'll do what you say, right? Before we move on to the next feature, there's one more thing we can clean up. Since navbar is used for site-wide navigation, it really needs to be displayed on every page in the app. You've made me waste 5 minutes. I knew you were going to do this. I said it. Rewind the video to the bit where I said they're about to do this, and they come back here, and we all knew it because it was obvious. Yet we did it anyway. So really, I'm the idiot here, not Ember.js.org.com, whatever the website is. So far, we have been adding the component on each page manually. It's a bit error prone. We could. It is error prone because you don't do any error reporting in the front end when you misspell a component. I don't like that. 10 points from Gryffindor. If that's how it works. I've never read Harry Potter. Presume that's how it works. The guy's got the head of a mouse. No, it's the DJ. Right. Solve problem by moving navbar into a special template called app. I know about application HBS because you made me delete it earlier. You fuck. It's a bit harsh. So now it's time. You may remember those generator plans when we first created the app, but we deleted it. I know. I was there. If I was editing this video, I'd cut back to the bit with like that rain on the glass effect over the front, make it all blue. Now it's time for us to bring it back. The template is special that it does not have its own URL. It's almost like it's a layout file. Rather, it is used to specify a common layout that is shared by every page in your app. Yep. Okie dokie. I am okay. You know what? Just this once. I'll do this, right? You don't ask me for anything ever again. All right. All right. Ember.js. After this, we're done. You hear me? You hear me? After this, we're done. And we get to undo all of our previous changes. So we go back to about, just going to do that. And we're going to save it. And we go back to index, and we're just going to do, just do that. And then just do it again. And then we're going to save it. And I'm not even going to delete that line. I don't even care that much. I'm not going to do it. And we go to, I can't remember the other one. I can't be asked to forget the names. We'll find out. That'll be, it's that one. It's contact. Contact. Okay. I'll do that. Then we'll save it. Oh dear. Right. Cool. So. Right. Fine. The outlook keyword denotes a place on where sites page you run into, similar to the yield keyword we saw earlier. What is the difference? Are you going to explain it? I guess not. This is much nicer. We can run a test suite which confirms that everything still works after our refactor. We're ready to move on to the next feature. Oh, wow. More about components. I can't believe this has taken an hour. Oh, I've been at an hour and I've done like 3 HTML pages. This is because I'm on a stream. I'm not blaming Ember. That's just an observation. It's got nothing to do with Ember. But I'm blaming Ember nonetheless. I'm having fun. This is fine. So, while building this random properties, you will learn about generating components, organizing code with namespace components, forwarding HTML attributes with attributes, and determining the appropriate amount of test coverage. No, we're not doing that. But that's not for today. Not now. Not testing your smelly app. Fine. We all used Jest before. We all hate it. Let's start by creating the rental component. This time we use the component generator to create a template and test file for us. That sounds like less effort. I like less effort. So, Ember.js component rental. Let's just do that. So go to here, do one of them, do that. Bap. There we go. skip. What? To add the class, to add a class, run Ember generate component class. Right? Will that add like a containing class or something? I don't know. Right. I like how it gives you tips. It's quite fun. And it's running tests each time, which is also probably quite good. I can see how, if you're someone who likes tests, which I have to say I do, but I don't. When I'm lying to people and so I like tests, I suppose for that's quite good. And for this thing I'm working on in real life, I have to test it. I just have to. I think Ember supports TypeScript. I also don't like TypeScript. I'm so lazy. But I would also be using TypeScript. And I think it supports TypeScript out of the box. It's quite nice. So if that's configuration free, fine. I'll use your smelly TypeScript. You can't be easier. Right, so that creates an app and components rental HBS. I do like generators. They are fun. What is it made, though? So if we just do... Oh, wrong one. Okay, rental. Oh. It's not the most exciting generated thing. Just has yield in it. So we will hard code the contents, get rid of that. We don't need that yield. So what we'll do, grab that, do one of those. Yeah, let's do one of those. Right. Okay. We've done that. Then we will write we're not writing a test. Stop it. You're drunk. The test should pass. I assume it did. I'm not going to question you on that. Let's just say you're right. Who can say? Let's invoke this a couple of times from our index template to populate the page. So I'm going to go to index. I like how much copy and pasting there is. I like not having to write stuff. Index, there we go. Where is this again? It's below the jumbo thing. So let's just delete that. We're going to go to there. We're going to go to one of them. Do that and do that and do that. And then boop. Okay. Oh. Okie dokie. So now, if we go to home, we have no images, but that's fine. I'm not going to put the... owner Veruca salt. Oh, it's the same... it's the same. It's the same house 3 times. Because obviously it would be, right? With that, we should see rental components showing our grand old mansion 3 times on the page, as we do. I can't stop doing that. I wonder if Beard Boy's still there. I bet he's gone. I liked him. I liked his hand. Let's add an image. I'm not adding an image. You can shut up. All right, fine. I'll do like Lorem Pixum. Yeah, I'll do that. That's the best you're getting out of me. I'll do Lorem Pixum and I'll put your stupid images in. So, what we're doing? So we're doing nested. Yeah, we're doing a little nest. We're doing Ember generate component rental image. Okay, I'll go back and copy that from Lorem Pixum. So Ember generate component rental image. So we're going to go to here. Do one of them. There we go. Go ahead. Okie dokie, and then rental image. There we go. And what's in there? We're getting rid of yield, and then we're just going to do one of those. Okay, and then we grab this. In fact, actually, we don't need that yet, do we? So, and what's this teaching me? What are you teaching me? Oh, Sage framework that's probably old enough to drive at this point. Wait. 2011, 2015, 14 years. Oh, 14. That's weird. Why is that weird? It's like it's not a person. It's not like you're hanging out with a 12-year-old. Let's just move on. Right. So, tip to add a class for an Ember gen. What would that do? Should we just do this? I want to know. So it's going to add it. It's going to wrap a class around it, right? If I just do that, and I just do Ember generate component. And then where is it? Component. Huh? Component class? Guys? Oh. Okay. Oh, that creates like a sidecar. That just creates a... What? What was that doing? Guys? Okay. Right, okay, that's what that does. Alright, well. So... Alright, so you sidecar the JavaScript next to the file? Is that how that goes? So go into app components. Oh yeah, and it just puts the ugh. Okay, so that's how view component does it. So it puts so if I had right, so yeah, so if I did this, right, let's just do this. And we ain't gonna use it yet. We might use it. I don't know what they've got planned next. Let's just do this quickly. So I do that. Oh, Ember, there we go. There we go. Yep, so it's going to put, so go back to here, go there. Oh, now we're going to go into, where were we? Components, rental, yeah, so it puts, yeah, I wish you could change, I don't know, I mean, that's the thing, you got to stick with the rules with stuff like this, because where it's so opinionated, it wants you to do this, but I don't like the litter of, if I had like jumbo.hubs, I'd have jumbo.hbs and jumbo. Do you know what I mean? It'd make me want to namespace everything, which is fine, I guess. Anyway, let's move on. So we put that in, rental image, source, so what have we got here? Oh, okay, so attributes, oh, okay, so, alright, so that's kind of cool. So if I just do dot attributes, it's going to pass on any HTML, like attributes directly into the component. Okay, that's kind of cool. That's kind of cool. I actually quite like that. So rental.hubs. So let's just go back to yeah, rental. Would you ever do rental? You know? Where's the image? It's the article class rental, so that's gonna go oops. Oh, can you tell I'm tired? There we go. I'm also not that. I know I'm using like you know, like I'm a Vim guy, but I'm not really. This isn't even Vim. This is Helix, and I'm not like even very fast. But you know, you get fast by doing, right. That's not indented correctly, but I just can't. I just don't want to think about it. You know? Do you ever get that? Do you ever like just want to? Do you ever get that? You don't want to think about stuff, you know? Like, I don't even know what I've done here. Let's just pretend that's fine. Right. Okay. So, let's go back to our. Oh, there we go. We've got an image. Nice. I quite like that little thing to pass through the attributes. That's a nice little touch. So yeah, dot standard namespacey boy. Rental image. Fine. Does it have to be? No, because rental is not. Yeah, so if I did, hang on, let's just read what I was going to say first. Sometimes referred to as splattributes. I'm never going to use that word ever again. This allows arbitrary HTML attributes to pass along when invoking components, like so. Cool. So we specified a source and an alt image attribute here, which will be passed along to the component and attach the element where attributes are supplied in the component template. It's quite fun. You can think of it as being similar to a yield, but for HTML attributes specifically, rather than displaying content. In fact, we already have used this feature earlier, and we pass a class attribute to link to. Cool. This way, our rental image component is not coupled to any specific rental property on the site. Of course, this hard coding problem still exists. We still move the rental component, but we deal with that soon. We will limit all the hard coding to the rental component so we will have an easier time cleaning it up. We switch to fetching real data. Ooh, we're going to actually fetch some real data. That's fun. I'm running out of time now. I need to get gone probably in the next 30 minutes, but I might continue this another day. I might just finish it offline. It depends whether or not one of the two people here subscribe. This is a first. I've never once on this channel asked anyone to subscribe or suggested they even do it. So, just be aware. You could be a part of history here. One of the two people watching, one of the three people watching. All right. Just making you aware. All right. No pressure though. You live your life. I'll live mine. Never the twain should meet. What am I talking about? Anyway, right. Right. This is where rental is not coupled to any specific. Fine. Of course, the hard code. Yeah, we've read this. We've read all of this. Is good idea to attributes to primary. So yeah, what would happen if we? Yeah, in general, it's a good idea to add attributes to the primary element in your component. This will add for maximum flex. Yeah, so if I did, if I did second image, so if I go back to what was it called again? Image, no, image. There we go. And then I did a second. I just did this, right? Okay, I just did that. Then, yeah, it's gonna do it twice. That's a spicy meatball. There's a downside to that being so magical. Fine. This will allow for maximum flexibility as the invoker may need to pass on classes for styling and RS. Let's write a test for new components. I've told you 1,000 times I am not writing a test for your smelly little test app. You can shut up. Determining the appropriate amount of test coverage. In this case, 0. In real life, some. Let's read what it says though. Finally, we should update tests for rental components to confirm we've successfully invoked rental image. Okay. Because we already tested rental image extensively on its own, we can omit the details here and keep our assertion to their minimum. Blah, blah, blah. It's not told us. Alright, fine, whatever. So interactive components. Here we go. We're on to the meat and spuds of this entire endeavour. The interactive parts. So far I've learned nothing, just that it does components. Is there a part 2? There's a part 2. Ooh, working with data reasons. Okay, this is okay. I'm gonna get to the end of part 2, and I'll do part 2 offline. All right, or in my own times. Right. In this chapter, we'll add interactivity to the page, allowing users to click an image to enlarge it and shrink it. Okay. While doing so, we'll learn about adding behavior to component with classes, accessing the instance states from templates. Okay, that's actually interesting. Managing, we're getting into actual shit here. Managing state with track properties, using conditional syntax, and I could have skipped all of that and just come to here. Just written any old shit. No, I mean, I guess I've learned something. I don't know. Using conditionals syntaxes, conditional syntax, double plural. I like it. Responding to user interaction with actions, invoking element modifiers, whatever that is. Testing using interactions. All right. We're not going to be doing that last bit, as we've already said ad nauseum. We ain't testing shit today. All right, we ain't testing shit. All right, yeah. All right. I'm glad we agree on this. Adding behavior to the component with classes. So far, all the components we've written are purely presentational. No shit. They're simply reusable snippets of markup. That's pretty cool. That is really cool. But in Ember, components can do so much more. Oh god, tell me. Hurry. Sometimes you want to associate some behavior with your components. They can do more interesting things. For example, link2 can respond to clicks by changing it. Yeah, we know that. Here, we're going to do just that. Ooh. We're going to implement the view larger and view smaller functionality, which will allow our users to click a properties image to view a larger version and click it on again to return to a smaller version. Mind-boggling interactivity. This is the things that you could only dream of mere moments ago, made manifest with the power of Ember.js. Never before there's such power in our hands to bend reality to our will via a browser and fake rental site that doesn't really do anything. I'm drunk with power. I am like Vladimir Putin. I am like Gurbanguly Berbatov, whatever you pronounce his surname. I am awash with let's just fucking do it. I'm gonna stop talking. Right. Okay. View larger, smaller, which will allow us to click the properties image to view a larger version and click on it again. We've said this. In other words, we want to toggle the image between one or two states. In order to do that, we need a way for the component to store two possible states and to be aware of which state it is currently in. Let's see if it does this in an interesting way. Ember optionally allows us to associate JavaScript code with a component for exactly this purpose. We can add a JavaScript file for our rental image. I've done this. Fuck you, man. Yeah, I did this. I didn't preempt this. I just want to see what happened. But you know, coincidentally, I've actually jumped forward a step. Generate JavaScript file, the same name as our components template as blah blah blah. It contains JavaScript class inheriting from Glimmer component. Okay. Glimmer component is one of several component classes available to use. They're a great starting point for when you want to add behavior to your components. In this tutorial, we'll be using Glimmer components exclusively. In general, Glimmer components should be used whenever possible. However, you may also see Ember at components or classic components used in older applications. You can tell them apart by looking at their import path, which is helpful for looking at the respective documentation as they have different and incompatible APIs. Well, I will never do that. Ember will create an instance of the class wherever our component is invoked. We can use this instance to store our states. That's pretty standard stuff. So what's it doing? So, a little bit of it, little constructor, yep, super. This is large. Okay, so there we go. This is large. False. So we've got, where are we? Rental image. So, image.js. Yeah. Pow. Oh, right. Okay. Oh. I didn't need to do that. Okay. It gave me the whole thing. How novel. Right, there we go. Excellent. Right, we've established that. So, okay, so yeah, super. This is large equals false, so it's not large. We can tell that. Accessing enter states from templates. Let's update our template to use this state we just added. So, okay, yeah, this is just standard HBS markup shit. So if this is large, so it's not going to get set to large, let's do that. So we're going back to image.hbs. It goes everything. Probably could have just checked that by just checking it properly, but I didn't because Right, so we've got that. If this is large, okay, image large. So yeah, okay, fine. In this template, access components, instance variables, the if and else. So yeah, that's fine. In this case, the value instance is this. Yeah, it's fine. So then how do we change it? So combining two features can render either small or large version of the image accordingly. We can verify this works temporarily changing the initial value in a JavaScript file. If we change, yeah, let's not even bother doing that. We know it's going to work. So should we do it? Should we blow some minds? Should we just go into, what was it? Image. There we go. And then we just go to here. And then we're going to go to here and then just do that and then do one of them and then wow, there we go. We've proven it works. Cool. So cool. So this is a pattern of initializing instance variables in a constructor is pretty common. Having much more concise syntax for it. Oh, okay. Well, that's much better because I don't hate JavaScript. I'd say I hate JavaScript. It's just so. I don't know. I've been ruined by Python and Ruby, where I just like these little concise languages now, and you have to write so much shit with JavaScript, and there's so many different ways to do it, and it's the same with every language. But JavaScript's the worst for it because they don't ever break backwards compatibility, which is admirable, I guess. But every time you see something, it's like, why have you got 37 fucking lambdas with like this weird esoteric syntax I've never seen before to do something you could have done with like one more line or something and made it nested one less so a human could read it. Anyway, getting on topic. When I write JavaScript, you'll think that I'm writing it as if someone who's really shit at JavaScript. Just know I'm doing some crazy mental gymnastics, which makes it seem like I'm terrible writing JavaScript. Actually, I've gone 4D brain and I'm writing really simple JavaScript an idiot would write, but it's because I'm really good at JavaScript. Imagine that's our story and we're sticking to it. All right, that's what we're saying from now on. Okay, we agreed. I'm the guy who invented JavaScript. I'm not really. I'm joking. I'm joking about all. Let's just get on with this. Right. So, yeah. So I can just do this last one. Okay, that's much better. Because if things are concise, me like concise. Image.js. So I can get rid of that. So get rid of that. There we go. There we go. There we go. Wait, what's happening here? Why have I got an error here? Boo. Bear. Oh. There we go. Nice, concise. We like it. Much shorter and less to type is always good, providing you're not being too magical. Of course, user cannot edit our source code. We need a way for them to toggle this image. No, they have to. We've gone over this. If someone's going to visit our website, we have to give them access to the source code. Otherwise, they won't be able to navigate pages. They have to. This is a non-negotiable. They have to be proficient in several languages in order to buy our t-shirts from smellyt-shirts.com. That's what we agreed. That's in the spec. That's our USP. The t-shirts are awful. They're scratchy. The designs are terrible. Jim spoke about this and we agreed that. Anyway, I'm sorry for him. That guy's a dick. Right. Right, so, at least I'm having fun, right? Okay, so simply going to toggle the value of this is large whenever user clicks our component. Managing states with tracked properties. Let's modify a class and add a method for toggling the size. Okay, fine. So, and if this works the way I like, I mean, this could be quite nice. If it's a nice, concise way of just having a bunch of methods and you just attach it to methods. I wonder how that life cycle stuff comes later on. I don't like it's in a separate. Do I care if it's in a separate file or not? I think I kind of do. It's fine, isn't it? It's fine. Right, so... Okay, what's that track thing? Okay, we're actually going to get serious for a second here. So we're going to go like that. Nope. Like that. Nope. Hang on. No, wait, hang on. What am I doing here? I'm just being terrible. I'm just being terrible at Helix. It's one thing you'll get with whatever this YouTube channel is called is that I don't tend to, and some of my videos are kind of like an authoritative tone, but I'm never the kind of person like, oh, I know best. I don't know anything. Who knows anything? Who really gets up in the morning and goes, you know what's going to make me happy today? Knowing something that someone else doesn't. How small is your life if you have to live like that? Not knowing things is amazing. Being an idiot is fantastic because it means you can learn something new. And that's the reward. That's the tasty treat, is learning new stuff and improving yourself by being the smartest person in the room. If you've ever been the smartest person in the room, it's fucking awful because then people ask too many questions and eventually just don't be the smartest person in the room. Someone's quoted this. It's good to be the stupidest person in the room, right? Normally it's me. Right, so we have a few things here. Let's break it down. First, we have the @track decorator. Let's see what @track does. Let's read that later. This annotation tells, this is like the stuff in, it's like the $sign in Svelte, I think, or that's gone now, but similar. To say this is, does that say it's reactive? Yeah, kind of. Yeah, that says reactive, right? Yeah, it's like the little $sign in Svelte. This annotation tells Ember to model its variable for updates. Whenever the variable's value changes, Ember will automatically re-render any templates depending on its value. Fine. Straightforward. Nice. Reminds me a little bit of proto-Svelte. Well, Svelte, but in our case, when we assign new value, this is large, the @track annotation will cause Ember to reevaluate the if this is large condition in our template and will switch between the two blocks accordingly. Don't worry, if you reference a variable in this template but forget to add the track decorator, you'll get a helpful development mode error when you change it to value. Let's just if you reference a variable in the template, okay, right. So just get rid of. Oh no, I'll do it later. So yeah, action toggle size. This is large equals. It's not large anymore. Fine. Responding to a user interaction with actions. So now we add a toggle size method to our class that switches this large to the opposite of its current state. False becomes true, and true becomes false. And two become one. If you like the Spice Girls, I don't. Shut up. Finally, we add the @action decorator to our method. This indicates to Ember that we intend to use this method from our template. So it's like an instance method thing. Fine. Again, this is kind of if you've not done Rails, this is quite Railsy. So Rails has implicit instance variables, and the syntax is using an @sign. And given when this came from, so Rails was huge from 2004 to about 2010. It was like the hottest shit in the world. So everything that was in that time, every modern framework is massively influenced by Rails, but not every part of Rails. I think that frustrated a lot of people with Rails was the magic. So things became less magical, and eventually we end up in this place where actually you do quite a lot of writing to get stuff done, and sometimes a bit too much, and it became very flavor of the month. And we end up in the JavaScript ecosystem we're in now, which I kind of think is a bit... But this is probably why it's like this. It's probably, and by probably I mean definitely influenced to some degree by Rails, because most things are. If it's MVP, and if it's relatively modern, it's stolen at least one concept from Rails. Not saying it's like they stole the idea. Ideas are free. Everything is a form of plagiarism. But yeah, that's where some of the ideas came from. And it's spatially, temporally in a similar time as Rails in its heyday, so it would have been more heavily influenced when Rails was at the height of its popularity. Anyway, so now we have toggle size method to our classes, switches. Blah, blah, blah. Finally, we have the add action decorator to our methods. It indicates to Ember that we intend to use this method from our template. So yeah, like an instance variable, or well, instance, not an instance variable, instance method. Without this, the method will not function properly as a callback function. In this case, a click handler. If you get to the action decorator, you also get a helpful error when you're clicking the button in the development mode. So, okay, I don't mind this decorator thing. This looks okay so far. Let's see how we get on with it. So, I mean, so far I haven't done anything yet, but you know what I'm saying. Don't hate how it looks. So, I might eat those words in a minute. Okay. With that, it's time to wire up this template. Oh, don't make me write things. Oh, man. Okay, right, so that div gets replaced with a button. So what's this mark? So on. Ooh. I've never seen that before. On, click, and then the method. That's kind of weird. I don't know if I like that. That's weird. Why isn't that just some JavaScript? Why am I... Ooh, is that... I don't know if I like that. Okay, well, let's give it... You might... That's weird, man. That's weird, right? Like... That's weird. Okay, well... Yeah. Alright. So yeah, we're just doing toggle site. Okay, fine. So what's the name of this one again? Image.hbs, and then we are getting rid of that, delete that. Wait, what are we doing here? Oh, I didn't have it. Maybe there. Oh, well, I don't need to have. I could just. All right. Okay. Okie dokie. Not you. Silly goose. There you go. You go back there. So. And then we've got. Is that just the same thing? It's just the same thing, but the word large is different, isn't it? So we'll do. Oops. No. Oh, I hate that. It's one little weird thing that always pisses me off. In the little anyway, don't worry. So larger okay, got that save, and then first, since we want to make our component interactive, we switch the containing tag from div to a button. That's important for accessibility reasons. I know actually a thing as well, right? So I'm not like an accessibility at all cost sort of person, but you should pay attention to accessibility. But apparently the Ember people are insanely hot on accessibility, testing and accessibility. Now, I'm lazy. I'm a lazy person. Having a framework enforce certain standards upon you, I don't think it's necessarily a bad thing. You may disagree with some of the decisions, but also it's like consistency I think is important. I find consistency very, very important, because the code you can edit is the best code is the code you can read later on, right? Like if you can't refactor some code, if you write something, so the thing, right? So I think when you start, I'm not a very good, right? So how do I put it? I'm not an amazing software developer, right? In fact, actually, it's only half of my role, but I have been doing it for a long time, and the difference between my ability to write code and my way of thinking about code is different, right? And as you get further into your career, the way you think about approaching problems gets better, even if you as a physical practitioner of your craft can still suck ass, right? So I can still be a terrible coder but think like a more mature developer in terms of how I approach problems, right? So code very early in your career, you'll say, I'm going to write something dumb, but it works, yay, and it's not going to be a thing, and then some guy's going to come in and you know, you can make that 4 lines short if you use all of these. And pulling this library, and nowadays it's compounded, right? I'm old, but it's compounded now. It's like, well, pull in this library which does this all for you. It's definitely going to be maintained forever. And so you do, and then you get too far into it, and before you know it, you've actually written more code in the first place that's hard to read, and then the libraries get deprecated, or in the old school way, you've written something more complicated that you thought was very clever and very like streamlined, and like it ran a bit, little tiny bit, and infinitesimally smaller amount faster, which was really important to you for reasons that you can't quite, you know, you have a big problem over there, but you have to focus on solving this one problem. So you write some really clever code that you can't fucking read the next time you look at it in 3 years' time, and you go, why did I do this? I know more now. This is terrible. Why did I write it like this? And eventually you do that enough times, and your code, as a meme, I'm certain there's a meme, but your code after like 10 years looks an awful lot like your code in your first year, apart from you now know why you've written it like that. And your knowing why you've written it like that is the value. That's the ability. That's the skill. And this is me like trying to sanitize the fact I'm a shitty developer. But that is kind of true. I'm not saying I'm amazing, but that's just like one of the main things I've learned, right? Know why you do something. And if that consistency can be something that you can inherit from other people, and remove opportunities for those things to happen, you're coding good, because then you can maintain it. Maintainable code is good code. That's just true everywhere. It's not as fun, I'm not gonna lie. Oh, right. So where are we? Right, we checked lecture over, by the way, for now. Since we want to make our component interactive, we switched. Yeah, we've done that. So, yeah, going back to my own point, the Ember people apparently take accessibility super seriously. So, next we use on modifier, which let's just do that, to attach this toggle size as a click handle on the button. So yeah, this is kind of weird. I know. So the thing that's got me about this so far, right, is like this little syntax thing. And again, this is just taste. Is, and you know, I've said about writing good code, but also my favorite languages, none of them are strongly typed or like implicit type languages. I mean, like, no, strongly typed they are, but like in terms of like, yeah, I don't know, dynamic, I guess. Everyone's a hypocrite. Everyone's full of shit. What can I say? Anyway. Yeah, but getting back to my point, this is kind of weird because we've got this little setup, right? Where have we got one? Have we got one? We haven't got one. No, we don't. So, did I do that in image? I did that in image, right? Yes. So, we've got some little mixtures of concerns here, right? Because you can, I have bodged together component systems with handlebars in the past. In fact, I used to do it exclusively for a little while. Not exclusively. I used to do it a lot for a little while. If you probably didn't. There's a very obscure mini JavaScript sort of like bundling buildy systemy thing that I used to use for years, and that had a component adjacent system crowbarred into it. It was really cool, and I really like handlebars. I've always liked handlebars. But yeah, we've got this thing where we go up a little bit, and we've got, where are we? So we've got a really it's not here. We've got a really standard syntax for throwing in like components, but then also we mix and match that with handlebars. And like handlebars is good when it's like a replacement. So I see handlebars as like a replacement for markup, right? Or if you're, because this, I think I was saying before, I do it in the context of static site generation stuff. Where there's no, and JavaScript would just be JavaScript. I'd lay that back in the day. That would have been jQuery, right, back then. But you don't mix and match because this is an abstraction from just JavaScript. So yeah, it feels kind of weird to be mixing and matching different things, you know, in a way. It's probably fine. But yeah, if I'm writing a template, like Handlebars is a template language, and if you're doing functional things within a template language, also with the template language, and again, the context of like a static site generator, that makes a lot of sense to me because you're just calling an underlying helper function, right? So you might have like a thing called icon, and that's just like a Node.js function that runs when you compile your website. To me, that logically makes sense. You'd do that, and you'd have a little macro thing that you'd call from handlebars to fire that off, right? But in this case, we're calling directly regular JavaScript methods that we have written, right, with this little action thing, and we're doing it like this. Who knows? You might get used to it. I guess it might help readability. I'm not sure it does. Because then I don't know. Let's just reserve judgment for now. I would really need, if I was going to test this some more. I think my feel so far is, although I've been going at a snail's pace and chatting shit half the time, is I need to spend a lot more time with this to really form an opinion, because we're so like on the surface level of this. It's not fair to really form an opinion yet. So these are just observations, really. They're not true opinions. I don't know enough about any of this to have an opinion. So let's see if this works. Go home. About. Wait, what's broken? Something's broken. Looks like a build error. Rental Ember.js. Closing tag div not match the last open tag button. Okay, what have we done here? Oh, okay. That's kind of interesting. I don't know what I did there. I made a mistake and I copied over it. There we go. The best mistake, and mistakes made twice. Although, where's my... There were... What? That's confusing. Wait, let's go back to index. What's not working? Odd. Very odd. So, rental image HBS. Okay, so what do I get? Any? Let's just check. Let's just inconsistent error reporting as well. Let's check the console. What's the console saying? Can't find variable tracked. Huh? Well, that's fucking lame. Okie dokie. Let's just, maybe because I've been talking too much. At tracked is large. False. Oh, okay. Oh, okay. I don't need to. Okay. Right, let's give that a go. No. Oh, okay. So it's run into an... Oh, Christ. An irredeemable error. Okay, so let's do npm start. Failed to load the resource. Okay, so it's not loaded the image. That's fine. Okay, go to... Okay, right. Failed to load the resource. That's fine. Is it... Enhanced promise rejection? Can't find variable tracked? I did save that, didn't I? That's weird. So let's go into, what was the name of our, let's go into Jumbo. That, did I get rid of the, so let's just get rid of our image because I don't know if it's going to freak out. What file would that be in? What's the global search again? Might just be S. Some picker. Where's my global search? Let's just do. Oh, hang on. There we go. And we just do hamster. Wait, what's it called? Tom. Contact HBS. Okay, let's just get rid of that. Okay. Tom. Okay, get rid of that. Okay, last one, Tom. Tomatoes, and then we get rid of that, and get rid of that. Okay, nice. Okay, that's not going to fix anything, but we do get rid of one error. So this is Ember.js can't find variable tracked. Have I missed something? I have. Ooh. Image.js. Yeah, so oops. No, actually we go down here. Right, so import. Oh, okay. It's one thing as well. I do. So yeah, I've been like very slowly moving over into using. Who's it? Very slowly moving into using Helix instead of a regular editor. This is why I'm not that fast, right? But there's bits I miss. Things like if I just do this. I mean, no, it wouldn't know how to import that anyway, right? Unless there's like a... Do you reckon there's an Ember LSP? Is that a thing? It must be an Ember LSP. Ember language server. Last month. Okay. Wow. 106 stars. Just shows how popular this is. Again, I don't really... Oh, there we go. Is this gonna... Oh, I forgot to... Image.js. No. Image HBS, and I forgot. There we go. What was this? Let's just do... Yeah. Okay. There we go. I think I've got this the wrong way around. That's fine. let's just pretend we do this the right way first time. There we go. There we go. And then yeah, view larger, view smaller, view larger, view smaller. Okay, right, fine. Cool. Okay. So yeah, that's one thing I miss is like when you have your IDE automatically do imports for you. I don't know how to detect them. It probably would with an LSP. I might install the LSP later, see if that works. But yeah, I forgot to. Basically, I forgot to import those two lines. That's why it fucked up. It was my bad. User error. Right, so. This animator says modified for updates. Whenever this value changed, we know that already. In our case, we assign new variables, so this is large, and the tracked annotation will cause Ember to reevaluate, blah, blah, blah. Respond to user interaction with actions. Next, we added a toggle size method, blah, blah, blah. Finally, we add the action. There we go. Oh, we wrote it. Okay. Yeah. So, actually, let's just do this. Let's get rid of this. Oh, no, let's just do image.js. Let's just get rid of this. Yeah, let's just get rid of that, and I want to see the error we get back. Give it a reload. Do we get anything in the console? We do. Okay, it's not that good a error, but we do get an error. Cool. I think also apparently there's a Chrome plugin thing, similar to like the Vue one or the React, the React stuff. So it'll be interesting to see if that works. If that does anything interesting. We'll see. So next up, what do we have? Let's go back to here. And when did I say I was going to stop? I'm going to stop pretty soon, to be honest. Interactive reusable. Okay, let's just get to reusable, and then we're going to call it quits there for the night. So we've done that. We've done that. Testing using interactions. We're not writing a test for it. You can shut up. We're not doing it. Yep, on modifier. I need to read up on that. And then we've got the... Let's keep our template before moving on. It's not really readable, is it? Button if this is large. Oh, yeah, it's fine. I can't be bothered to write that. I know what that is. It's like do an if and an else. What are we having there at the moment, actually? I can't remember. Image.hbs. Yeah, if this is large. Else if... yeah, we just moved it around. It's fine. Okay, yeah, whatever. Is there anything I'm missing? Yeah, no, this is just if this is large. Yeah, fine. That's just some pretty. I mean, yeah, I don't love that either. That's fine though. The thing is, I do like the idea of writing more handlebars. I'm really comfortable with handlebars. I really quite like it. I've pushed it further than it should probably go a few times as well, and it feels like they've done that as well. It's quite a limited language, but I kind of think it should stay limited as a language. Limited, not a language, like a whatever it is, scripting shortcut thing, you know, scripting guy. But I do like handlebars. Handlebars is cool. It's probably one of my more favoritist. I like the syntax. I like how straightforward it is. It doesn't play very nice with things like prettier, which is annoying, but whatever. Right, so although apparently I think there's a prettier for Glimmer or for Ember, I think. So I've used it before with something else to try and get prettier working with a generic handlebars thing. Anyway, we're going off topic. So we're not doing that refactor because it can't be asked. Oh, hello. Little ternary there. Oh, okay. Option if can take a third argument for expression of value if the contention is false. Wouldn't be recommending that. That's ugly as fuck. So if we've got... Yeah, no, I don't like that. So small. Yeah, so... No. No, that feels weird. I mean, I don't know. You can read it, but without your little pipe. I want there to be a pipe, but again, I don't think it works that way, but you want there to be a pipe. You know what I mean? Don't like that. Yeah, so it's truthy. Yeah, so it'll be truthy falsy, right? Anyway. Whether or not it's an improvement in the clarity code is mostly a matter of taste. Fair. Either way, we've significantly reduced the duplication of our code. More important bits of logic stand out from the rest. I don't like that as an abstraction, but whatever, it's fine. Run the test again. Not running a test. Shut up. Go away. So... map solution. Okay, what's going to work on next? Reusable components. While adding map, you'll learn about managing application level configurations, parameterizing components. That's going to be long, isn't it? Components with arguments, access components, arguments, interpolating values and templates. Okay, nice. Refactoring with getters and auto track. Getting JavaScript values in the okay. That's something to revisit for sure. Values in a test context. Managing application level configuration, parameterizing components with arguments. That seems sensible. Let's do up till there. What else we got? Access and component arguments. Okay, let's just do this. Let's just do this section. We've got time. I know what time. Probably have time. Right, so managing application level configuration. We use the Mapbox API to generate maps for our rental properties. You can sign up for free and without a credit card. I can't be fucked to do that. Let's just let's just put another image in. I'm not signing up for anything. I can't be bothered. Also, I can't do that on stream anyway. So, for it's a static maps API, it serves maps as PNG format. This means that we can generate appropriate URL for parameters. Let's read and not write because I can't do this on stream. Well, I could, but I could do something else. Let's just read it for now. If you're curious, we can explore the options available in Mapbox. Let's not do that. Once you sign up for the service, grab your default pub. Oh, shush. I know why they're doing this. They want it. So, okay, let's look at the environment. That's pretty simple. I do like a .env instead of, but whatever, it's fine. It's a JS application, of course. Does it have the default git shit to ignore it? I would assume it does. Okay. Fine. Module prefix. Environment, root URL, location type. History. Raised and deprecated true extent. Okay. Oh, okay. That's interesting. So you can flag individual features from the framework and turn them on and off. Well, it says experimental features, but would that... Okay, well, whatever. Here you can pass flags options to application instance where it's created. That's fine. Development, fine. Okay. Oh, excuse me. I wonder if it supports like mocking or like seeding. Not seeding, you know, like inbuilt mocking stuff. That'd be interesting. So, as the name implies, Config Environment.js is used to configure our app and store API keys like these. These values can be accessed from other parts of our app, and they have a different value depending on the current environment, which might develop, test, or production. Zoe says, spelled in the most exotic way to spell Zoe. If you prefer, you can create different map access tokens for use in different environments. At the moment, tokens will each have blah, blah, blah. After saving these changes to our configuration file, we'll need to restart our development server to pick up these file changes. Unlike these files we've edited so far, Environment.js is not automatically reloaded, nor should it be. That would be fucking atrocious if that was the case, because that would just be... Let's just not even think about it. You can stop the server by blah blah blah. By typing control... I love how they're sort of being like, hey, get an API key, and do you know what an environment file is? And it's like, oh, by the way, pressing Control and C, and then explaining that is typing C on a keyboard while holding down the Control key at the same... Guys, if you're doing this, you know what keyboard shortcuts are. I know I've joked that you're over-explaining some concepts, but explain the concept of a keyboard shortcut? I mean, to any kind of... We assume you know JavaScript because we've given you this. Right? We've talked about you. But anyway, it's fine. We now know what Control-C means. So, thank you, Ember. Generate component with a component class. Right, here we go. So, component map with component class. Okay, so that does both at the same time. So, yeah, if you do a component and you do with component class, which is quite verbose, is there a shorter way of doing that? There is. Okay, that's quite nice. So -gc. Okay, yeah, because who's going to write that shit? No one's going to write that. Okay, so that's going to do it's going to do the JS and the HPS at the same time, and also write a test. Cheeky. They love tests. So, since that every component necessary has some defined behavior associated with the component generator, does not generate a JavaScript file for us by default. I think, I imagine in here you could probably change that default. It's a sensible default to change, because 9 times out of 10 you will have JS. I'll probably say not JS than have JS, but that's by the by. Yep. Cool. Yep, so that's fine. Yeah, the whole some people don't like CLI stuff. I really like a little helper CLI thing. I don't know why people don't. It's fine. You don't have to use it. You don't have to use any of them. People are bemoaning the existence of little CLI helpers. Someone's put the effort in, man. It's good. I wonder if, because I know in Rails you can write your own generators as well. I wonder if their generator system's extensible. So if you have your own generator type, can you just extend it? Or I know in Rails you can also have like generator templates of multiple different types of generator type and apply. It goes really deep. You can actually make... Rails are so productive, it's crazy. That's like second level down. I don't do that. I'm a basic bitch Rails user, but like the Rails OG people, the hardcore crowd, they do all sorts of crazy shit. It's fun, and it makes you even more productive. And I imagine, given how old this is, and there's something to be said about things being old. I know it's not that much older than React, but when I say old, I don't mean pure age. I mean like maturity. React's mature too, but the thing is, like, when you've got the more churnier side, JavaScript's the most susceptible to this, right? When you get to the churnier side of the spectrum, JS projects don't mature in the same way as non-JS projects in general, unless they're unpopular. Unpopular stuff means we have our users, we narrow in the things that make their lives better. At times, they might drag their heels on good new ideas, or maybe never get them at all, which also happens. But yeah, maturity inside an ecosystem is I think it's a really good thing. Without having to constantly, like, you'll get things where, like, Vue will do something and then React react immediately. Oh, we need that feature, and back and forth. and they don't have enough time to say, is this actually a good idea? And some of them get reeled back. SSR, no, that's not get reeled back. But I think like SSR at the minute in like React and stuff is kind of a mess, and I don't know why you'd do it, because they're reinventing a wheel that has existed for a long time just by virtue of you wanting to do it in React, and also meaning that you have to lean really heavily on stuff like Next.js and then therefore Vercel. It's icky, it's grimy, I don't like it. Anyway, back on topic. Okay, right, so parameterizing components with arguments. Let's start with our JavaScript file. So what we're doing here. So importing the environment, that's fine, nice and standardized, quite like that. So, and then, so what have we got in here? Okay, return it. Okay, so return. There we go. Yep. Here we import access token, the config file, return some token getter. That's fine. This allows to access our tokens as this token, both inside the map class body as well as the components template. It's important to you encode the token, just in case you special code. Okay, fine. So that's nice and straightforward. Interpolating values in templates. And then, how are we going to do this? Where are we? Now let's get moved from the JavaScript to the template. So that would be a map, image, alt tag. There we go. That's for later, I guess. Oh, hang on. Yeah. Source, blah, blah, that long zoom. And then there's our access token. Yeah, so that's our size. So, yeah, we've set all of these, and then we've got access token equals this token. So, yeah, that's fine. Okay. Yeah, that's fine. So, our topic contains several values that don't exist yet. Lat long, LNG. It doesn't have to be that short, does it? When you're doing a string like this, what is one character to make it make sense? Just make that zom. Right, I'm being pedantic here. Because lat's short for latitude. It's a long word. I get it. Right, sorry. I'm going to shut up. So, these are arguments to the map component that will supply when invoking it. By parameterizing a component using arguments, we made a reusable component that can be invoked from different parts of the app and customized to meet the needs of those specific contexts. Mind-boggling. We've always seen this in action, as I linked to earlier. We have to specify a root argument so it knew what page to navigate to. So it's just a case of you don't have to specify these up front, you just put them in that says, I know what this is. So if I just do, because I can't do the map thing. I could do the map thing, but I don't want to. So where are we? We're in image HBS. So if I just do like, I don't know, can't spell. Span. Let's just close that off. Span. And here I'm just going to do like thingy. And if I do this, do I need to? So I don't specify. I should have maybe read ahead, but whatever. Where's this used? Image. So just do rental. There we go. And then rental image. And if I just do under here, I'll do thingy equals stuff, and then we'll just print out the stuff. Yeah, it does. Okay. All right. So back to this page. So that's pretty straightforward. Okay. That's not very explicit though. I wouldn't mind this bit. I mean, is that a bad thing? It's quite terse, but also, would it be the end of the world having? Again, it's the thing of having it in two separate files, right? Because then if we just sort of set our expectations, set a bunch of if we set a bunch of variables in here, if they all lived here, that'd be fine, right? Because then there's no mystery. I'd probably rather be like, yeah, the token equals, but you can't. They're sort of doing this up here, aren't they? What are they doing? Where are they doing it? They're doing it somewhere else. I can't remember. That's the wrong file. Where is it? It's in. It's in image.js. Oops, no. Image.js. Ember.js. Yeah, so we're doing it here, right? So we're setting, well, this is tracked. We're still setting that there, right? So why, no, I mean, because then, yeah, surely you could do like thingy and then just default it to nothing, right? Whatever we called it, I can't remember what we called it. You know what I mean? I think I prefer that. Or something along those lines. Whatever, it's okay. So, or is it okay? Would that be a problem? Would that be annoying later on? I don't know. Attributes, right, so. And this is the point which keeps happening. I keep saying a thing and then they go, well, actually, you can do the shorter version, which is a way of writing I do like. So I call it like Jeffrey Way writing, where Jeffrey Way's like the guy from Laracasts. He teaches Laravel. He's a very nice guy. And he will lead you down the garden path to demonstrate features, and then you'll go, actually, we can do this instead. But in the process of replacing the thing you've done and getting a little bit confused, he'll go, well, that's what we're actually doing, and here's the shortcut. And he's quite good at going full circle like that. That style of writing in a circle, I quite like it. They're not doing it much here, but he does it really well. He's a good teacher. By prioritizing components using arguments, we need a reusable component that can be invoked from a different part of the app and customized to meet the needs of those specific. Read this. Default value. Oh, okay. So, hang on. We supplied a reasonable default value for alt attributes based on the value of the. Okay. We notice that we're directly interpolating values in the alt attributes value. Are we? Oh yeah, yeah. And we'll automatically calculate those interpolated values into a final string for us, including any nest. Okay, that's cool. I didn't really think of that. That's kind of cool. So we can just pop that straight into a string or just do it. There's escape stuff built into. You can do escape. Actually, no. Escaping stuff can be a little bit annoying. If I remember correctly, in handlebars, there's some jank to it occasionally. So that's quite nice. They've done that, but let's reserve these. These aren't judgments yet. These are just we're just looking. We're just browsing. We're just trying shirts on. We're not going home with anything. So. Okie dokie, so we've done that, fine, and then overriding HTML attributes and attributes. Right, okay, here's the thing, right, so if we have attributes, we do ... attributes, it will just interpolate whatever you pass through as standard HTML tag shit, so class, etc. We're having to write classes, standard thing, which is cool, I guess, right? But if we do that twice on a page, it's going to just spit out the same thing. So if we just have if we have a component with two things that have attributes applied to them, we're going to pass through, we'd have to be explicit, or what they're about to say now, right? So next, use the attributes to allow the invoker to further customize image tags, such as passing extra attributes such as class, as well as overriding our default alt attribute with more specific or human friendly ones. So if I passed in alt again, in this scenario, and I have my default, then I just did alt. Should we do that? Let's do it quick. So if we do image, yeah, there we go, and I would do image attributes. So if I go to yeah, and I do alt equals stuff, right? Wait, how's he done it in here? So does that have to come first? Image alts thing, and then let's leave it that way around for now, right? So if we do that and we come back to here, and we should have it, let's just check this out. So inspect element, and our alt is stuff, right? So if I come back into index, templates index, come to here, rental, no, actually go, no, sorry, it's rental image, no, wait, hang on, rental, rental image, there we go. Okay, thing is stuff. Oh, okay, so no, okay, right. So, a picture of a grand old mansion is being superseded by the one we've set. So that's not working. What was that not working? So yeah, I've got alt stuff, right? So I've got an alt set here. So, what am I explaining? So maybe I do the other way around. So I do image.hbs, and then let's do it this way around. Okay, Okay, and then we just put that. So if we do that afterwards, right? Okay, and then just put that. Oops. And then we just do dot dot dot. Oh Christ, I'm in the wrong place. Ignore that. You didn't see any of that. Oh, sorry. I am being a big idiot. There we go. So, getting tired. Can you tell? Attributes. Okay. So now, is that going to work? So if we do it this way around, it should be a picture of a grand old mansion. Cool. So if I come back out to here, so if I go back into rental, is it? Rental HDS. And if I get rid of this, so yeah, get rid of this alt, right? So we'll just do that. Yeah. So, oops. Yeah, I'm definitely getting tired because I can't fucking helix anymore today. Yeah, so then now that's going to revert back to stuff. Okay, so yeah, attributes just come afterwards. Okay, that's fine. That's fine. So, okay, that makes sense. That makes sense. Yeah, because it's so it's reading the orders. Yeah, so it's reading it from top left to right, top to bottom, right? Yeah. Okay, so. Although I thought, I don't know, whatever. Yeah, I mean, do I like this? I'm used to more explicit stuff than this. I'm not sure. Would I use this in real life? Would anyone use this in real life? That's a good question. So, anyway. So, since we passed alt attribute, if any exists, it will appear after ours. I could have just read that and answered that question and just spent fucking 5 minutes. Yeah, there we go. By assigning the default before the attributes apply, but explicitly providing the invoker and options providing the tailored alt attribute according to the use case. I could have just read that. I did not done any of that. That's fine. Okay. Since the past and alt attribute of exists will appear after ours, will override the value specified. On the other hand, it's important to assign a source with the. Okay, so yeah, I mean, I would probably prefer to be more explicit than that with this attributes thing. It's kind of cute, but I think explicitly setting and getting like things like, you know, passable classes. Yeah, I don't know. Handy, I guess. I suppose. I don't know. The source attribute templates require parameters of the URL format for mapbox static map. So the source attribute interpolates all the required parameters into the URL format for maps boxes. Oh, okay, yeah. So we just passed it. Okay, yeah. So we passed in all of our little guys, haven't we? All of our little values. So retina image, we specify the width and height. Otherwise, image rendered twice the size of what we expected. We just added a lot of behavior in single components. Let's write some tests. No. Okay. Hey, all the tests passed. Okay. I imagine if I had done that last step, I would have had a map, but I haven't, so I don't. If the map image fails to load, make sure. Yeah, because that's why I haven't done any of that, because I can't be bothered to go to Mapbox. I probably could have put an image in instead, but whatever. That's what the point they're making. Right, there's our test. Refactoring the getters and auto track. At this point, a big part of our map template is devoted to the image tag source attribute, which is getting pretty long. It is getting pretty long. One alternative is to move computations to JavaScript class instead. Fine. From in our JavaScript class, we've accessed our components arguments using this args API. Okay, yeah. So that's kind of what I was saying before, right? I'd much rather do that. So, okay. So, oh, I see what they're doing here. Get, and then this. Oh no. Oh no. That's not what I was expecting it to be. Fine. Yeah, so doing a getter and a setting. Okay. Okay, right. So yeah, let's go with what we read here. So We're devoted a lot of time to the images tags. So yeah, we're constructing that source string, which is long and cringe. Where is it? It's around us somewhere. It's around it. Whatever. You've seen it. It's around us somewhere. There we go. Oh no. There it is. Look at that long bastard. Now, I actually don't hate stuff like that. It's fine. It's not abstracted particularly well, but it's not really going to confuse anyone, right? You're going to read it and go, oh, well, I can see what that is. Again, clarity's good. So, is it a good abstraction to do this? I don't know. Right, so here we go. We're going to get a... So, yeah. So, we're just saying source, and then we're going here, and we're just going source, this source. So, yeah. Yeah, so, yeah, right, so fine. Width is width. Fine. Yeah, so we're doing that to serve the test as well to an extent, I guess. So I don't know how I feel about that. I don't know how I feel about that. It's a bit overkill. It's not. It's fine. There's nothing wrong with it if you want to do stuff like that, of course. But it's like in the context of a tutorial that is supposed to orient you to a framework, and it's doing something a little bit like, I guess, unnecessary, right? It's demonstrating the features, I suppose, right? So we can do a getter, and then we can do all this. That's just. I mean, it's very sort of generic JavaScript. It's not. I think, but then I wouldn't write JavaScript like this, you know. Maybe, would I? I don't know. Maybe I'm a hypocrite. Maybe she's born with it. Maybe it is Maybelline, after all. And we've been lied to. Okay, so we've done that, and then we're down to working with data. Let's go for 5 minutes, and I'm out of here. So, hardcode data, fine. Yeah, no, I haven't got time to do all this. I am going to leave it there, you know. I'm going to read this offline and do probably part 2 offline and see how I feel about it. My take after a couple of hours looking at it, not really done a great deal so far, is I'm currently... it's too early to form an opinion, so let's just do early opinions, right? The conventional stuff feels like not enough of a big enough draw to make any of this worthwhile so far. You could just structure a project like this yourself, but again, I'm still skirting around the edges of it. The mixture of like calling methods from in little like handlebars, custom helper thingies, not sure how I feel about that. The just arbitrary throwing in of like the little variables you want to have without having to explicitly state them at the top of a file. I like that. That's a good level of explicivity. Because you can see that you've got about. I mean, if you're using TypeScript, maybe it's different because you'd have to, right? So, but I'd probably rather, and I guess there's nothing stopping me from just doing a bunch of like getters inside. I mean, I probably would do that, to be honest. A bunch of getters inside of the JavaScript, but then are you again in a world where, because I'll be like get this, and it's explicit in the JavaScript file, but then also the conventions force you to have a sidecar JavaScript file which sits next to the markup, which I don't love. And it doesn't encourage you to mix the JavaScript into the handlebars file, right? Which I would also prefer, because then it's all just in one place, and you have the option of splitting out if you need to. I was saying how much I liked opinionation, but it's got to at least make it either serves clarity or speed, and I don't know yet. I can't say yet, but I would probably rather write like that. But then, how far is that? I mean, that's not going to, again, it's not going to confuse anyone, right? I've set a bunch of effectively variables, and I'm using them, right? But then because I've spent enough time with Rails, for example, I know at least something about where it's okay to push against conventions and not. The broad strokes keep it conventional. We just have a nicer time, but Rails also encourages you to do stuff like write helpers. It encourages you to extend things where they make sense to extend them, because again, Ruby is very terse and the Rails API is very extensive, so actually you can write you can push the boundaries of Rails very easily in ways that don't feel confusing or against the grain, but it's a very vibes based thing. So that's the thing with things like this, where you've got like all this very heavily convention over configuration stuff. Convention is just basically, here are our opinions, and we don't give you the choice to not use them, or we give you guardrails within you can ignore them. And the trade-off for having those guardrails in place and you're losing some opinion is consistency and or speed. In the case of Rails, you get both, but just by virtue of having an opinionated system does not guarantee you consistency or speed of development, right? Doesn't happen. People have opinions, and they can be shit. They can be a Tory. If you're English, you know what I mean. So, that's what I'm saying. You probably don't. So yeah, I'm not convinced. So I have to spend more time with it. I have to get through the rest of the tutorial. But yeah, there's some code smell things I don't love, like the mixture of the standard style components mixed in with handlebars feels a bit janky. Them saying write some slightly overwrought ways of doing stuff in JS in such a simple example, I don't love. But yeah, it's too early. I've barely scratched the surface of this still. There's probably a lot more to go. Right now I'm not seeing the special source. I do like explicit like routing over file-based routing. That's the thing I don't love. I don't know why. I just feel like, I don't know, you're not having to, file-based routing is great to start with, and then it gets annoying quickly if you have to do more unusual routing scenarios. But then, again, 90% of the time you're not doing that. So, I don't know. But having some flexibility in routing with doing more, that's a good thing. It's not a bad thing. I quite like it. I like that. That seems okay. There's bits about that seem quite cute. Well, actually, yeah. So, all right. So, yeah. Okay. Roots index. Okay. And this is how they provide data. Fine. That's pretty straightforward. Just put an async and then return just an array. Fine. So, and that could be, because yeah, not touched on like the built-in stuff. They've got for like API connections and anything like that. I know they've got some cool data store stuff that I've heard about that's apparently very good. The @track stuff, the sort of like little like method identifier things, I quite like those. They're fine. They remind me of Svelte. The thing I don't like about Svelte is SvelteKit. I actually like Svelte. Svelte's cool. It feels very like vanilla JavaScript. I quite like the vanilla JavaScript with some extra stuff on top approach, which again is something I quite like about Vue, because Vue's a bit like that as well, apart from the templating. Less so with the composition API stuff, but still not as code smelly as React. But yeah, we'll see. I'll spend some more time on it, and I will might do another stream at some point. I do like the streams; they are fun. But either way,